Hey everyone, so I've got a new video for you guys today. Now I've recently just gone and bought the Logitech G27 gaming steering wheel. It is a couple of years old, but it's come down quite a bit in price and it's quite cheap now. And I didn't know how much I'd be using the gaming steering wheel, so I thought I'd get something a little bit cheaper. My first impressions are really good. I have taken it out and had a bit of a play around. I've been playing a little bit of Project Cars and it feels really good so far. Another reason I went for the Logitech G27 is a few people online are using a little metal plate to be able to adapt a real car's steering wheel to work on it. I thought I'd give that a go with this here that I've got. Now this is a plate off my little project car, and basically it's for a steering wheel quick release, so that would bolt to the car and the steering wheel would latch onto here. So I was thinking of trying to modify this to see if I could get it to work with the Logitech G27, because I think it would feel a bit more realistic with a larger steering wheel, as the steering wheel that's on it by default is pretty small. But yeah, hey guys, what I'll do is I'll unbox the steering wheel, I'll show you guys what you get inside, and I'll try and get some gameplay footage going for you with a little bit of Project Cars with this steering wheel. Okay guys, so here we've got the box for the Logitech G27, so I'm just opening this one up and taking a look what we've got. So everything's laid out in their own little compartments here. There's the little manual for the steering wheel itself. Throw that aside for now. We've just got basically a wall power adapter there. Pretty general stuff. This does require wall power obviously for the force feedback and things like that on the steering wheel. I mean, there's a lot of cables and a lot of bits to this altogether. We've next got the pedals here. We'll just pull this, get that out of the way. So yeah, we've got the pedals here. There's a clutch, brake and accelerator here. Let me just pull that out of the bag for you guys. So as you can see, metal pedals there. They are just screwed on, so you can, by the looks, or we can take them off. We can put different pedal covers on them if we wanted to do that. The accelerator pedal is relatively easy to press. The clutch and the brake are a bit harder, obviously more like a real car. So what we've still got in the box here, we've got the steering wheel, but I think we'll look at the shifter first. So the shifter's got quite a nice base with sort of an angled back with a few buttons on it. The shifter itself is 6-speed with a nice leather boot and leather shift knob, a directional pad, those 4 red buttons and some further up. There's also this third screw-on point for extra support when it's screwed to the desk, which is nice to have there. Overall looks pretty good and quite handy having those buttons. This too also has the serial cable, or very similar serial cable to the pedals, and it's also got these rubber gripped mounts for holding it onto the desk. Next, onto the steering wheel itself, which once we get it out here, it's actually a leather grip with a metal dish, which is a really nice touch. It makes it look a lot nicer. Wasn't too happy, or didn't really like the idea that some of the leather on the handle looks a little bit wrinkled. I mean, they can do it all the time on real cars and not have it wrinkled, things like that. Movement's nice in it. The paddle shifters do have a very satisfying and audible click. Can't be heard here. So that's me showing that's 1.5 turns from centre to full lock, and 1.5 turns from centre to full lock that way, so 3 full turns lock to lock, so 900 degrees I believe. As I was saying, it's metal with leather, and there's also a shift light in the centre. These 6 buttons here are handy to have. It's a great idea, although the buttons don't feel the best. They don't have the best feel, but the paddle shifters do, which I'll be using a lot more. The paddle shifters themselves are actually quite raw metal, and while drifting, things like that, the force feedback is sort of going all over the place, and I've actually cut my fingers a couple of times on those. Over here we can see the mount that grips it to the desk, which works quite well. I haven't managed to rip it completely off the desk, although while drifting in Assetto course I have pulled it forward, but sort of in between runs I'll just sort of hit it and it'll slide it back in place on the desk. Not a huge thing, I mean there's only so strong they can be, of course. Okay, so I've gone ahead and got this set up here. So we've got the shifter and the wheel here. Now as we can see, these are up. What we can do is once it's tight we can push them down and lock those into place. Same on the steering wheel here. So I want to do a little bit of a sound test of the buttons and the shifter so you can so you guys can sort of see. So with the shifter we can hear they have a nice click to them, which I like. These buttons here have a bit of a click to them. They're quite wobbly. They're not firmly in place, not as good as they could have been. Not used often, like I said earlier though. So what I'll do, guys, I haven't plugged the USB cable in. I would always recommend connecting that last. First time I set this up, I connected it first, and then as soon as I plugged the power cable in, this started doing a thing. So I'll connect it in and you guys can sort of see. So I guess it does it for a little bit of calibration. What it does is it sort of, there we go, see it sort of spins around, self-centers itself, sort of detect where it is and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I'm really liking my first thoughts of this here. I'm really looking forward to doing the little mod with that plate. Another cool thing with the pedals is if I aim the camera down a bit lower, so we can see the pedals. Ignore my poor cable management down there for now. But basically we can see if I'm pushing these, there's not too much movement considering it's plastic on carpet. There's a little bit, not the worst though. So we can see if I flip this over here, I'll zoom in on it, sorry about that. Oh, that's not the zoom, that's the focus. Okay, here we go. Okay, so not the best, but we can see there's this rough bit here. So there's sort of pointy bits of plastic that stick into the carpet. You can also see these kind of screw holes here if you wanted to mount it to something, but we don't want this. We can push it in. There's a little latch to flick it down. And we can see that, yeah, pretty plain base here, but we can see that that would be quite helpful. So let's put that back in place. Probably should have vacuumed before filming this, but yeah, hey guys, I'll load up some games and we'll see what we think overall of this. Also, because the Steam sale, only just recently started, not so long ago, I've bought a couple of other games since the starting of filming this. I've also bought Assetto Corsa and Dirt Rally, the new one that released this year, 2015. But I'm really liking Assetto Corsa just because of all the modding and extra cars you can get. There's some really great pre-set up drift cars which I've been playing around with. I spent basically a whole weekend playing around on that when I was only going to play on it for about 5 minutes. But yeah, hey guys, I'll load a couple of games up and try and get some gameplay footage going for you. Okay, so I've loaded up a game of Assetto Corsa here. I was trying to get Project Cars to load up, but after I was playing around with the settings in the Logitech software for this, the pedals didn't seem to want to work in Project Cars any longer, so I thought I'd load this up for now and try and get that working again. Just doing a little bit of drifting here. I mean, I'm not the best at it, but it's always quite a lot of fun. Force feedback, as you can see, works reasonably well. On the note of the driver software, I'm actually using an older version of the driver software for the steering wheel. The current version, after a bit of troubleshooting, still would never ever detect the steering wheel, so I'm using the older version, which seems to work a lot better. It took quite a bit of tweaking of the settings in that as well as in-game to get to all work correctly with this. Project Cars worked pretty well, but like I said, after playing around with the settings, it didn't doesn't work now in Project Cars. Yeah, I mean, the steering wheel itself and all its bits, of course, has lots of cables. I don't really think there's much Logitech can really do about that. I mean, there needs to be a cable for USB to the computer, the power cord for the force feedback itself, and of course a cable for the to the shifter and to the pedals. So that's 4 cables coming out of this that need to go somewhere. So I've just got those sitting below my speaker there. I guess that's most of the things I want to let you guys know about. But yeah, I really do like the steering wheel for the most part. I think I'll like it even more once I get that plate on here and a bigger wheel. That will probably be in a separate video. Okay guys, so I managed to get Project Cars working in the end, or all the wheel and the pedals and everything like that. I just needed to change a couple of settings in the game profiles and the Logitech profile manager and basically set it back to defaults. But anyway guys, this is Project Cars. I'm in the Pagani Zonda racing around Bathurst. Not so good at this game either, by the way. It is a lot of fun. This is probably my favourite car and course to do together in this game. Definitely a ton of fun. Great driving feel in this car. Force feedback works really well. I have turned it down a little bit from how it would be by default, just because things like going over these ripple strips try and translate into the wheel, whereas in a real car they'd be sort of more translated through the seat and the suspension of the car itself rather than through the steering wheel. But yeah, definitely really nice. The sound on this game is amazing if you've got it up loud as well. Definitely nice to see. I guess the only thing about the game itself I don't like is that there's only one Japanese car and all the rest of the cars are European or supercars. So the only Japanese car you've got is the Evo 10, which doesn't drive so well. It's one of the only road cars in this game, and the road cars don't go so well. Other than that, cars like this go amazingly well. I feel like I'm probably going to crash coming up ahead here. Braking in this game feels quite realistic as well, as if you sort of plant your foot down, the car will lock up. I've just invalidated my lap time by going off the track there. You guys, I think, will be able to... Oh, here we go. The lights on the top of the... Oh, that's fun. Lights on top of the wheel for the revs there. I think you guys can see that. Can you see that? The sort of shift lights that are going on there. Having this wheel really does make me want to get a 3rd display and a 3 display monitor stand. That's just more money, I guess, and maybe in future that will be something. In this game I also noticed, I can't remember if I mentioned it earlier or not, is that driving a car like this, the shifter doesn't really work so well as the pedals. Sometimes it doesn't like the gears. You can do it and you don't have to have the clutch. That's turned off at the moment while I get a bit of practice. But I actually really like using the paddle shifters. They just feel quite satisfying to change up and down with. I've never driven a real car that have them, so I don't really know how really realistic it feels, but feels good either way. Anyone thinking about getting this game itself, by the way, there's meant to be more stuff coming, so what I've played so far I really do like it, and I really do hope they bring out more DLC and more cars, more tracks, things like that. But yeah, that's, I mean, everything I really wanted to talk about the wheel itself. And yeah, like I said, once I get that plate and get that plate and a real car steering wheel ready to go on here, then another video will be up following up from this one on my thoughts once I've done that. Sorry, it's a bit hard to speak and kind of play at the same time. But yeah, hey guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. There we go.